Yeah, let me, hey Matt, what's going on? Matt Moreland. You always have the cool stuff you're working on, so
Yeah, how's it going, Nate?
pretty good, man. What's going on?
Nothing much. Kevin gave me a call and
Told you that RCIC was up and live.
yeah,
Cool. We're gonna explain it.
congratulations, man.
Yeah. Yeah, then we can get together. And if everybody knows, Matt's been around, he's been with us for about 5 years, but Matt's been he's working on a program. With government, basically bidding on opportunities with the government. So there's a cool website, sam.gov, and all that for how the U.S. government acquires everything outside of maybe like black ops and CIA kind of stuff. I think there's only a few agencies that probably aren't on that. So everything else, every other agency's on that. So if anybody's interested in bidding on government contracts, let me know and I'll hook you up with Matt.
Thank you. Yep, still doing that.
Cool. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and start then. I know Rod's on, Lisbeth and James. Got a few more people that are coming late. I am recording this because I want to show you tonight. I'm going to show you first. I'm going to do this in two parts. We're going to try not to go an hour. The first part I'm going to show is because we had a request. That was actually by James who's on about showing a commercial, how a commercial deal is separate from like if you do a multifamily or something separate, how you can do it and to evaluate it, analyze it. And I did it in a unique way. It shows you the kind of the power of once you've had a few weeks and it goes predictive and it has some experience. You've trained RCIC how you wanted to operate. You train it like an employee. I'm going to show you how I was able to just get a property to evaluate tonight. Then after that, we're going to go over the RCIC systems, and I'm going to show you guys the login screen you'll have, and I'll give you the process, which that we can start probably start tomorrow. I've got one more test in the morning, just basically with somebody who's not in the system that I trust, just to So I'm going to explain that in a minute, but it's really cool. I'm going to go over the highway, what we call the RCIC Highway tonight, and I'll show you guys what your screen will look like. So let me go ahead and pull that up real quick. I'm going to go ahead and pull up what I worked on today. And I did preset this up just because I want to make sure. I did need to make sure a couple of things worked on here because I do it all day long for myself. So testing it out. So I want to make sure you guys are seeing this. So James had requested we look at a commercial deal and how to evaluate one. So here's what I just put in, right? I just basically today I went in and I looked at I said, hey, I need to find something on CREXC or LoopNet to analyze. That's all I put in, guys. That is all I actually put in, is that I was looking for something to analyze. So instead of me generating like these lists and stuff, that's all I did today. But I need to find something on CREXC or LoopNet to analyze. And then tonight, so it brought up in my markets, it brought up three. It brought up these Acacia Apartments, which are on 14th Avenue in Denver. I'll go over that one because that's the one we're going to look at. So this one's 55 units it's on Capitol Hill. If you guys aren't familiar, obviously Denver, you've probably seen pictures of our state capitol with the gold dome, which actually does have real gold in the gold. So this is a 1922 vintage, 32,675 square feet, Class C, R4 zoning. So LoopNet says it's no longer advertised, but that actually makes it useful tonight because it still shows a plausible recap rescue capital profile. So it's kind of cool. It's an older stabilized asset value at upside, and it's got a lot of capex completed. They have a loan assumption to August 2027. So you guys can Google that or look it up yourself on it's 429 East 14th Avenue, Denver, Colorado. Obviously, LoopNet has it. You guys can look there. I did it basically copying and pasting with my mouse the LoopNet and the CREXC ads for it, and I pulled up some other information on it. But just to show you guys, once it's predictive, you guys see that's all I did to prompt it because it knows my systems and my markets, and I got my buy box and my markets established, which we talked about last night. So now I was able to pull this up and go. It's a unit count box for the brief. It's 50 to 300 to 200 units. It's a Denver metro area, obviously in my markets. and a durable rental location. So it has real capital stack angle because of the loan assumption timeline. It gives you a simple underwriting story. It's a good asset, good location, older vintage, potential income upside, but capital structure and next refi window matter. So then they had another one at 125 East Spear Boulevard in Denver, 481 unit complex. So it's obviously a lot different, about almost 10 times, probably 8 times larger than this other one. And it's a pretty good deal. And obviously you can look at that one. It's on LoopNet as well if you guys want to take a look at it. The other third is Crexy. It's a Denver multifamily inventory. Crexy currently shows Denver multifamily listings with an average price around 3.2 million. Average price per square foot about 308, medium cap rate about 6%, which gives you market context for the session. So tonight it basically said, we want to study this. It's not because it's not really that distressed, and it was just acquired. But just to kind of show you guys, what you guys want to go into is obviously questions, and these are what you want to look at. What is the current rent roll versus market rent? What concessions are being offered? What is the true economic occupancy, not just physical occupancy? What is the current debt balance, maturity rate, and DSCR? Is there a cash in refi requirement coming? How much sponsor equity remains behind a preferred equity position? You guys can do all this. You guys can plug this all in. Like here's a PDF I generated. I can send you guys afterwards that I generated for this. But it starts talking about how you can finance it, different options to finance it. And then also all the way up to if you want to raise capital through like a regulation D 506C or 506B. And we have all the information. RCIC has it, and Capital Passport and RCIC Systems has it. Where if you need to go and you want to raise capital, it'll walk you through the process, and it'll show you, how to start that process. We do recommend obviously a syndication attorney. We do happen to know a few of them that I can refer you to as well. So, like I said, basically, then I took this. This is what I actually, basically, I copy and pasted from Crexy's or LoopNet and put all this information into it. So it's obviously, this is the description actually from LoopNet, it talks about its 1920s character, very attractive loan. Its assumption through August 2027, 4.02% interest rate. It's got over 50% loan to value, substantial capex complete with ability to implement a cosmetic value add in order to maximize income and tenant experience. It's a close proximity to the business district and a lot of major employees. So it is a multifamily apartments, low rise. It's a class C, about a third of an acre. Building size, you got 3 stories. It was built in 1922, so it's older, obviously, but it's been fixed up recently. It's an R4 for zoning, and it gets into the amenities: air conditioning, cable ready, dishwasher disposal, microwave, storage, all that. Guys, for cable and like even utilities, there's ratio utility billing system, RUBS. You guys can research that, and that'll help you with and cost segregation. If you're doing multifamily or any kind of commercial acquisition, it helps you really even in your first year of ownership, pop up that all with, it gives you a lot of good information, a lot of good, with cost segregation. You can use learning mode here in RCIC to learn about cost segregation or RUBS. There's also some systems for cable where sometimes with the cable systems, we'll actually reimburse or we'll pay the landlords, if they have a sponsored program to put like Xfinity or something. There's multiple, obviously Starlink, guys, a lot of landlords are opposed to like satellite dishes. I actually lived in a complex one time where they had a 5-gallon bucket full of concrete, and the landlord had put posts in there, like almost like a mailbox post, and they made it like a concrete thing, and they would hand it people they could put on their patio, so they could set up a satellite dish. And then all that was invasive was just the one hole that the satellite installer. That was when they had those Dish and DirecTV. You guys know Starlink is a lot smaller now, and you guys can get Starlink pretty reasonable. So it's got all the high-speed internet. It's got all the walk-in closets, side amenities. It's everything, and you get the good breakdown. You guys always want the breakdown. How many studios there are, how many 1 bedrooms there are, one bedroom, 1 bath, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. if there's a 2 bedroom, 2 bath, 3 bedroom, one, but what you want to know how many units there are and what the rent are and what the all the square footage and stuff. You also guys get in if there's a website for the market for the property manager, and then this also gets into transit because it's obviously a lot of people in apartments obviously take the bus. This is actually all the buses in Denver. 16th in California is actually downtown Denver, and it actually gives you good information, man. Off of Crexio LoopNet, you're able to get all the actual lines, like the D line and the A line. In Denver, the A line goes out to the airport. It gives you access to Amtrak, Union Station, Lodo, Coors Field, where the Rockies play, 6th Street Mall, all that. Gives you the airport. It also gives you the A line for the airport, parcel number. It has the assessment, the land assessment. It also there's an off ramp in here to go to the city and county of Denver where you can pull up all the tax records. So this is not being presented as a distressed asset. It's being used as a live example of a multifamily asset. So we're looking at the Acacia Apartments. Like I said, it's 429 East 14th Avenue, Denver, multifamily, 55 units. It's a 1922, like we've already said, kind of rehashing. 3 stories, Class C. It's an R4. So it does a pretty good deal, guys. So it kind of gives you some recommendations. When you put any kind of property in here, you can actually put in, you can pull a list like we showed last night, an AED list, or any of these, or you can just even pull in, copy and paste just with your mouse off the Crexio LoopNet and put all the information in there, and it'll actually do a pretty good job of assessing it. And you can ask it to conduct a market reality assessment, which basically it'll take a look at the neighborhood, the subdivision, and it'll start the process of running comps. If you were to run this in your buy box, in the buy box project, basically in the chat that's under the buy box. So if you go up here, buy box, and I start entering this to the deal analysis tools, it'll start running that and market reality assessment. Like here you go. Let me try to run that through through that real quick and show you guys this in real time. Let me go back to my so I'm going to go to market reality assessment. What are we for this? So I'm just going to like copy and paste that into a market reality assessment, and it's going to give you a really good. So it's going through, you guys can see it's going through denvergov.org. It's going through a lot of different local websites. It's going through Walk Score. It's going through, I mean, look, there's Colorado Sun. There's a few local newspapers in there. Velocity, Realtor.com. So here it goes. Here you guys go. Here's a market reality assessment. MRA verdict. It's conditional green, price driven by, not market driven by. So it's not a clean growth market deal. Denver multifamily is still absorbing excess supply. Rents are under pressure. Concessions are common, and vacancy remains elevated. So it's giving you a market really on that zip code, on that address, and on those properties. It's actually gives you a lot of good information because you guys just saw it. It's going to show you all the sources. So this is the public asking price is 7.7 million, roughly 140K per unit, 235 square foot, which is materially below the broader Denver multifamily benchmark, which is around 307K a month per unit for Q1 2026. So the discount is real, but it's not free money. It's compensation for the age, small units. It's a Class C positioning, older building CapEx exposure, and the current rent market softness. So there you guys go, real mo. So you guys can click on these off ramps and you can go get a more.
That's the ultimate DNA report right there.
Yeah. Go to Realmo and you can just click on that. And then when you're on an on ramp, you just come back to your GPT icon. So this is really only it's a real rent roll, assumable rent, physical condition, and tax insurance load validates the story. So obviously you want to go in and look at what the city and county of Denver would have on it, the tax assessor's office. and it will actually give you all their tax rolls and stuff. You probably have to get something, your rent rolls. You probably could get rent rolls if you had to come up with something. You could probably get it what's publicly known, which would be like from their marketing and advertising, obviously. And you got a property reality check here. Obviously, went just through it. 55 per deal frame. Guardian matrix shows 54 units. So confirm unit count and title, rent roll, and certificate of occupancy. Again, it could have 55 units, but 54 rental. Maybe the 55th unit is the manager's quarters or whatever. That could be the situation. You have to decide if you want to have a living manager and you want that rent, or if you're going to give them an apartment as part of their compensation for managing it. That's up to you if you do that, obviously. So it gives you the zoning. It talks about what the zoning is like and what you can do on it. Public listing data. And then it also has loop nuts cached. And then you guys got Denver as a renter's market. So it's not going to give you easy rent growth. So that's the good thing about market reality assessment. It's going to come in, it's going to give you, no matter where you're at, St. Louis, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Detroit, Houston, Dallas, Miami, wherever you're going to be at, ask for market reality assessment. Set up that project in your projects with your buy box, your markets, your deal analysis tools, skip tracing, have market reality assessment. There is the prompt in the RCIC Facebook group. You can put that in there after you open the project. I put that prompt in to first start running market reality assessment, because you're going to get a lot more information. It's going to search a lot more for it. It's pretty cool. Location reality, strong urban demand, real quality of life friction. So it's got the public rental listings show Acacia units starting around $893 a month with a studio of 440 square feet, 2-bedroom, 1 bath at 770 square feet, around $1,249 a month. So you guys can see, you can start pulling it out, all the different marketing sources that they use to advertise. So you can pull up, you should be able to pull up at least, is it 100% accurate? Probably not, but you're talking about that these are what they're publicly advertising, and they would have a bad reputation if they were advertising $1,249 and you go in there and it's like $1,500. So I would, you can at least make a plan when you're first making your initial and analysis of this. And then it talks about what the core underwriting question is. Are Acacia's rents low because management is leaving money on the table, or because the unit's tenant profile, concessions, location, microfiction, building condition, or regulatory constraints? And then it gives you guys a rough public data rent comparison. So you guys are below on rent, 36%. So you can play into that. Like, what are you going to do? What's your strategy to get rents up? Maybe you don't have to go to 1395, but could you slowly go to maybe 1,000, 1,100, maybe split the difference, and you could increase the NOI and all that. 2 bedrooms. I mean, you're talking on the 2 bedroom, you're talking almost $700, $800. It's 41%. So that's pretty significant. So there is a lot of room for rent increases. Do not underwrite full convergence to city averages. And then it gives you the base reality. So it's kind of a cool thing. And then it talks about the assumable loan thing. I'm going to have it save it. And I'll post this in the RCIC Facebook group, not the associates one. And then you guys can read this on your own, a lot more information about it. But like I said, you guys could just, if you find something that correct, see, you don't have to depend on like you're generating a lot of leads. If you're just looking for something in a particular market, you can ask it after you probably trained it. You don't do it right away. It'll come up. It'll still work, but you'll get a lot more information in about 2 to 3 weeks after you trained your RCIC, after you've done 10, 12 sessions on it. You put your markets in there, start, deploy your agents. If you're looking for multifamily, we talked about deploying your agents last night. Obviously, you guys go through I can't do it right now while it's doing this, but basically through your plus, you can deploy an agent, and send out an agent to locate multifamily if that's what you're looking for. We found for one of the RCIC operators, he actually was looking for car washes. Not something that I had really set up, but really in about 5 to 10 minutes, we were able to generate a couple of leads on car washes, and he was looking in Illinois. and we were able to generate about 7 or 8 car wash opportunities that he was looking at. So you can go outside of just conventional real estate, if you want. It's totally cool about doing that. So if anybody has questions, like I said, I'm kind of saving this as a PDF and I can send that out to you guys. But it talks about, you guys obviously get into the scorecard. Here's an MRA scorecard, and it'll set up, for walkability, location, market timing, the basis, what the rent upside. Public rents appear far below market, but reason must be verified. Asset quality to Class C 1922, what the debt is, operations, what the exit liquidity, liquid enough, but buyer pool discounts old Class C, what the overall MRA, 6.6 out of 10, pursue, but only with disciplined basis and physical due diligence. You guys get into here's your exit reality. Institutional, mostly known, less aggregated, larger urban portfolio. So it gives you a lot of exit. It's going to give you all your exit strategies. It's just going to give you a couple of them. A lot of I've seen already as many as 7 exit strategies for a property. So ask for exit strategies, and it'll give you all the due diligence. Because of this property, it is actually generating specific questions that it may not generate for you on every property, but you will find that RCIC, after you guys are turned in, you've got it going predictive that it's gonna really dial into what you're doing. It gets to know you. Like I said, you're training it to be an employee. You're training to think like you, operate the business, find the deals you want. You'll never get a bad deal. Like I said, even those people getting a couple hundred leads or whatever, you'll never get a bad deal. Every deal will be something you want to do. You may not do it at that time. Maybe you don't have the capacity to do 1 deal a month, 2 deals a month, or something. But you're not going to get something that you don't absolutely want to do. And if you start getting an excess, we're putting a program together called Exchange, which we have Exchange GPT. You guys will see my GPTs, and we're kind of putting it together as kind of like an in-house, kind of like wholesaling. We're just calling it reallocation. So you might get 10 deals that are really solid deals, but you only can do 1 of them. What do you do with the other 9? Put it in exchange and get monetize it. You'll get a little fee from it. We'll talk about exchange probably in a couple of weeks because I'm going to work on that after I build the 2 next components I'm building right now is one for calls that'll have a dialer. You guys will have your own kind of dialer. You'll be able to actually select some voices, AI voices, voice agents. SMS for texting, and it'll also help with emails, and it'll help with all being fully compliant. And then obviously doc on demand, and that's over 250 documents you guys can instantly download, or you can actually build your own or modify them. And that'll be the 3rd component. And then we're pretty much wrapped up, and you guys have full access to all that, like you do RCIC systems, which we'll go over tonight anyway. So it gives you the bottom line. And obviously, here's the PDF, and I'll send you guys the PDF. You guys, that way, if you want to go through and read this on more detail on your own. So, does anybody have any questions? Like I said, this will do. I mean, you can go in and ask it, like, hey, can you help me find a storage? Are there any storage available storage opportunities? Use Crexia LoopNet, but bring over a copy and paste and bring over what they have and have RCIC evaluate and analyze it for you. Start plugging them in if that's what you like. Spend a few minutes every day just going to Acacia Apartments, find what you like, and then just start entering it and start building your intelligence. You can do that with projects. To build a project and just start pump it in there. Market reality assessment, and just continue to pump in every once in a while. Pump in something you like. Maybe if you're not even pursuing it right now, or if you want to get into something later on. Maybe you want to get into storage. You want to get into multifamily. You want to get into something later on, not right now. At least go to those sources and start generating those sources, start priming your intelligence, build your intelligence up, because that's going to help you when you are ready. It's going to be all dialed in. It's going to know what you're doing, what you're thinking, everything. It's really sweet that way. So like I said, this just isn't residential. It's every asset class, every strategy. Let me write one more thing on here, and then we'll switch over to RCIC systems. Operators may be interested in monetizing utilities, cable, laundry, and even using cost segregation and in the strategy. Can they use learning mode? To educate themselves. And design a strategy. So guys, think about learning mode. You know, when you guys first log into RCIC Core, there you go. You'll be able to actually go in there. And it's going to obviously, because we're talking about Acacia, it's going to reference this question I asked. I try to ask it generally, but it's obviously because we're talking about Acacia. It's talking about using learning mode. Go in there, and it's not the best use is not to teach me ancillary income in the abstract. It should walk them through concept, compliance, underwriting, implementation to owner investor decisions. For Acacia, learning mode should focus on the monetization lanes for them. Utility reimbursement, RUBS, sub-metering. Then you get into cable, internet, bulk, telecom revenue, laundry and resident service income, cost segregation, and after-tax return optimization. So it talks about the caveat, you know, compliance sensitive, cost segregation is tax sensitive. Learning mode can educate and help design the strategy, but final execution should be reviewed. And here, obviously, we're talking about a property in Colorado, your state, Michigan, Texas, wherever you're at. My Colorado Landlord Tenant Council, a utility billing vendor, a telecom consultant, and a CPA cost seg firm. Obviously, if you're doing a lot of acquisitions in areas, you want to have those people on speed dial. So you get into module 1, utility monetization, teaching operators how to convert unmanaged utility leakage into compliant reimbursement income. For Acacia, this matters because in 1922, multifamily building may have master metered systems, old plumbing, shared common area utility loads, and even unit sizes. Operators need to know whether they can use RUBS, direct sub-metering, flat fees, or a hybrid model. So it's and obviously here it is, it's bringing up some of the, this is Holland and Knight, they're one of the largest law firms that deals with landlord tenant real estate in Colorado. It brings up their off ramps. So think about that, how powerful you guys can have it now when you have off ramps to, if you're in specific states, you can sometimes get legislative updates. It actually talks about that. It's cool. And it talks about the Colorado General Assembly, HB 261013 page. It says landlords may use RUBS if total tenant billing does not exceed the actual utility provider charge. No extra fee is added. Common area costs are excluded. Allocation method is clearly disclosed in the lease. And one thing I think it doesn't mention is my brother's phone number at the state capitol. Because you guys know, my brother's actually, those of you who don't know, my brother's actually in the, he represents Highlands Ranch, Colorado in the legislature. So I always joke when the legislature comes up. It's like, hey, they should put my brother's phone number there. Learning mode. So it'll teach you about that. You get a utility recovery decision tree, 12 months utility reimbursement rollout model. Just factor that into your underwriting. You get into the cable, internet, bulk, telecom. Then you guys get into laundry and resident services. Are laundry units in the units? Are they coin up? What can you do? Can you work with a contractor where you get a percentage that they supply? That's usually a good situation because if a washer or dryer breaks, you're not on the hook for it. They'll fix it, they'll replace it. You guys know a lot of bars and restaurants do that with their jukeboxes now and their pool tables even. So it's kind of, you can do that with laundry too. Then you guys get into cost segregation, and they'll teach you all about cost segregation. So you guys can learn all this stuff in learning mode. There's nothing you can't put in learning mode and learn. So it'll structure an operator experience for you guys. It's pretty cool. Like I said, just go into there and it talks about MRA for Acacia, and you can, all the utility stuff, man. Like I said, I'm just going over it fast. I'm not really going through it line by line. You guys can just go into learning mode and ask about those. If you guys are looking at any mobile home parks, might have the same thing. RV parks, what do you hook up? What kind of amenities? Can you monetize the amenities? I mean, there's all kinds of ways to do that. There was an apartment complex in Denver that used to have like video rentals. And they had machines or whatever, like those ones you guys, those red box ones you see at McDonald's, kind of like that. So, yeah, we'll add that. Add this to the PDF. And then we'll talk RCIC systems.
Real quick, Nate. So once we get the deal room, let's say we went on Crexy, we got the deal room. Could we upload it and then have it go through the info, underwrite it for us once
Yeah,
it's trained? Yeah, yeah.
I don't do that. I mean, obviously, don't mean it's underwrite it for you like it's going to do everything. You still need to have human touch and decision, but yeah, and then you can guide it if it's not going the right way. Because at first, James, you're going to train. You want to train it, so you're going to be like, it's probably going to be more manual than you thought at first. But really, in about 30 days, it's going to be more automated than what
Yeah.
it's going to be good. You got to get it in there because you want to obviously have the ranges for everything of what's acceptable to you. That's your buy box. That's where everything happens at. All the accuracy is buy box. Literally, you put in there all the details, what you're looking for, what you won't accept, what you don't want, what you're not looking for. You put in the ranges what you're looking for. And at times then you can contract and expand. So you think about yourself as like a filter for cooking. If you put flour and you put all the things in the filter, or or an oil filter, it's all the oil, everything goes into the top and it comes out finer at the bottom. Just refine everything. And it's like anytime you want, you can contract or expand. If you start wanting more zip codes, more opportunities to look at, you can expand your buy box a little bit. You can make those changes on the fly. You can make them at 2 o'clock in the morning. You're not having to hit up, the vendor and going, hey, I need to make a change, and you don't know when that change is going to be made. Well, what happens to those deals and those opportunities you missed while those deals are being changed? Now you, with RCIC, you have total control at any time you want.
How many agents did that use for you to run that whole thing?
That didn't use an agent.
Oh, okay. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, but you can do any of the manual stuff, like any of that kind of stuff without agents. If you want to deploy an agent, you can deploy an agent to go out there and look for you, and that will take one agent.
Okay. Cool.
So you don't need an agent for everything. It's just what you want it to do. You want it when you want, because you want agents out there working for you, and they do 24/7. And you just got to think about it as an employee. You don't have to pay. They work 24/7. You can have it go out there and look at all kinds of different resources, public sources, public information. Now, here's the big change is GPT, which we're obviously on now, doesn't like scraping. Claude, Anthropic, you can mention scraping, it'll build you a scraper. RCIC systems has a lot of scraping ability. So like you guys are going to learn about in about 2 or 3 minutes, we go through RCIC systems, the process of getting your guys' access. You guys have the best of two worlds. Being a lifetime, basically, you guys will be able to go over there and you can set up scraping. So you can use RCIC core here, like you can use RCIC systems there, which I'm about to show you guys, and you guys will be able to just. I mean, literally, there's nothing you guys shouldn't be able to do.
Hey Nate, I've got a question, clarification question. When you say for us to train the system, are you referring to defining the buy box and that's how we're training it, or what do you mean exactly when you say?
That is part of it. Is training it is with your buy box. So your
Okay.
buy box. What I recommend is obviously I kind of showed this when you guys get in. Let me show kind of just because I know a few people probably need this as a refresher. When you guys first get it, obviously you got the RCIC core, right? You got the conversation starters. You got RCIC mode. This is where you'll go to get to when you can set up learning mode. You can go to change RCIC mode. It'll come up and you can go switch to learning mode, switch to wholesaling mode. There's all the different modes. But here you go to set up or update your buy box. And it's going to basically give you, here's the suggested buy box card. It's going to give you what it's, you want to go there and tell it who you are, what markets do you like? Are you in what counties, what zip codes? Counties and zip codes, you're going to ask for cities and counties and zip codes help a lot more. Asset types, what type of assets? Do you like small multifamily? Do you like other? Do you like what's your primary strategy? wholesaler, flip, burr, long-term hold? What's your strategy? Price range, minimum, maximum, equity, discount requirement, condition. Do you like light cosmetic, heavy rehab? Will you take foundation issues, tear down, fire properties, fire damage properties, preferred distress signals, probate, foreclosure, tax liens? So what it's going to do, it's going to give you this whole thing, right? And then it's going to give you a structured example. This is one's already kind of filled out for it to kind of show you an example. It's going to give you risk flags. It'll give you a time box, tells you how much time to take. I would add another 10, I would add about another double this. So I'd go to like the 30 to 45-minute level. What you really want to do is you want to actually just copy and paste. So just copy here and go down and paste it right there in your box. Okay, and everybody just kind of the caveat, you guys see the developer mode and see the orange kind of outline of my box. You guys don't have that. I have that in developer mode. Other than that, there's no difference. Just so, because I've had people before me, why isn't don't I have orange? You get that with the workspace. But you go in here, what I would do, don't be careful, don't push enter. I know, but I'm telling you, this is why it takes a little bit more time to do your buy box, is you'll have to just go line by line. The good thing is you got the sample card. You can use this, or you can actually, you can kind of scroll and it'll help you fill it out. You get it all the way down to here and you fill this out. But before you press either send the prompt or you hit enter, again, hit another copy and paste. So here I would go and hit copy and paste here, right? Well, now I'm going to go over to my projects, and you guys saw me where I have my buy box button, right? Now I'm going to go over and I'm just going to paste it into what I put for my buy box and establish my buy box. Now these are chats under it. I'm not going to do it now because I'd be putting something in blank. But you guys would set up the next line would be like, and then I'll show you what obviously what the lines look like. The chats look. I'll find one. Well, obviously the one we're on tonight. This is obviously the one we're on tonight. So use that buy box, right? So if anything is here is another chat, just enter it, another conversation with it. So then when you got your buy box set up, you could take those properties that you're working on now, like Acacia, and then you can just copy and paste it into the projects. And that's where it starts the process. That's what we're calling training. And you want to set up buy box deal analysis. At first, it's going to seem like you're doing a little bit more manual, but you're training it. You're not going to be using those projects after about 30 to 45 days. You're going to be able to do a lot more just from the prompt box. You're training it. Keep in mind all the intelligence kind of builds. Also, keep in mind, guys, I know there was 7 or 8 of you guys on here, plus Kevin and I tonight. All of you guys are on. You're all doing different things. What happens is I can't even see what you guys are doing. That's how secure, it's all encrypted and all that stuff. But if you guys see down at the bottom, I know it's fine print, it says OpenAI doesn't use Nate Marshall's workspace. That's what we got a workspace. Jesse and I have access to the workspace to train its models. However, everybody that's using RGPT, RCIC, GPT, everything that you're doing is helping compound. It helps compound all the intelligence, all the information, so the system's getting faster and better. So not only are you training your RCIC, everybody's is combining to help each other. So you guys want more people to come on board because it helps everybody. You're putting a lot more information, especially in these areas like we got, Rod's on, then we got 7 or 8 people in Michigan. We got about 7 or 8 people probably in Houston. Then we got a bunch in Dallas. We got a few in Southern California. We got some pockets where we got 7 or 8 people, right? So those areas are going to get a lot more intelligent because obviously people are putting the rehab and scope of work. All that pricing is everything's kind of building and it's keeping track of it. It's really cool to explain it. Let me try to explain it.
It feeds itself on everybody's inputs. And that's the thing. And we're starting with extreme inputs as it is to begin with the library. So if you give it 30 to 45 days, that's why he's talking. It wouldn't take long because the actual experience that it's getting makes it grow faster for everybody. So it's an exponential machine within an exponential machine. If you can think about that, that's basically what this thing is.
Yeah.
So you have something going on, Rod, that you want to take a look at?
With what?
Rod was wanting to get some clarity on a couple.
A couple things. So rather than go through line by line and read what the results are, I would rather see the actual prompts. Like take take an opportunity from the very beginning and go through what the next step is, including underwriting as well. And on your Facebook Messenger, you said something about skip tracing as well. So I'd like to know what the prompts are for that as well.
Yeah, I mean those, and I do have those in those groups, and I can get those too because those prompts are there's a number of them. There's for the skip tracing one, there's a skip tracing war room prompt, which is a whole series, and you can input those through the skip tracing. You can build a project for that.
So all those on the side there are.
Yeah, they're in the Facebook in the files tab, and I can send that to you directly as well.
Yeah, everything that's in here is in a file format of some sort or another regarding when it was done. That really could be going back 7, 8, 10 years, but having that in that form, you could change it when you bring it up to where you're going to enter it to be effective today or more effective today. So it really doesn't matter which way you go with it. And that's what Nate's trying to get across here. You can customize that in such a way that you'll do what you got to do. And if there's anything that's left in there or somebody else's experience, it's going to go digging through and compare to that too, and give you the latest and greatest result.
So you want to use, and it's easier just, the Facebook group for RCIC. It's a lot cleaner. The associates ones, I've been putting stuff in there for 5 years. The RCIC group, which I think everybody in here is part of, in the files tab, you guys can go and find. If you go, skip tracing war room prompt is in there, and it's got the series, and it actually tells you how to put it in there. And then so there's a files tab rather than having to go through here, because then you can the 12 changers. There's a couple prompt packs and they're all right together, guys. I uploaded them. So if you go to that section, there may be like anything that right there. There's 4 or 5 prompt packs that are all right together.
So you're saying there's the files. Just look in the files tab on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. The Facebook group and the RCIC one. Don't do it in the associates group, because even though it's there, that one's got like 300 things that have been uploaded since 2020. RCIC is a lot cleaner. So yeah, skip tracing war.
Have you ever built a website using this?
Oh yeah. So I built RCI systems using all of this. I basically started just pumping in. I pumped in all 7 of the GPTs. I took it all over to Claude, and I basically built RCIC systems using everything I had here. It made it a lot better because I've got 1,500 hours into this on the GPT side. And so basically I was able to build in about 2 to 3 weeks. And most of the time like I was saying last night, a lot of this stuff in the last 2 weeks was more like getting the billing picked up, for subscription. You guys are lifetime. So there's a thing I'm going to show you guys right now that I'm going to show you guys that how to get your access, and you guys will start being able to get your access at about 12 tomorrow. And I'll tell everybody tomorrow, watch both Facebook groups. As soon as it say live, I'll give you the guys the process tonight of how to get your access to that. But yeah, and the skip tracing, all this stuff, a lot of the prompts I built into that. Where here, so Rod, here's the thing: is this is like you guys could build this onto it. People have already done that. Eric in Savannah took the skip tracing, and he told me, matter of fact, what he's done to it. And I'm trying to get him on a session to show it. He's like literally he took 1,000 properties, generated 1,000 foreclosure leads, put them through the tools, through the different tool systems, and then skip trace, got down to 10. Took him 12 minutes. He took those 10 properties and he went and manually underwrote them to compare them. And he said they were within 97% accuracy compared to manual underwriting. So I felt pretty good. That was the feedback he gave me. So you guys see me, anything that I'm putting out publicly on Facebook, I'm getting from all of you. So if you guys got, things are going on, I'm telling other people. Anything that you guys need tweaks and stuff, I'm available. Like I said, the best time to get is my time, Denver, 8 o'clock, 8 in the morning to noon, 7 days a week. I can do live tweaks. You just want to copy and paste on, if you're here, you get stuck right here. You just go, copy and paste right here, and just copy and paste and send that to me on Messenger. And usually I'll get an answer. I'll get a PDF or something back to you within a couple minutes. because I'll go through here and tell it. I have a whole operator troubleshooting. The skip tracing war room prompt is really good. You'll be able to actually get down to realistically, unless people are buried in LLCs, particularly in Wyoming and Nevada, which have extra protection for privacy, people aren't having to pay a single penny to do any kind of skip tracing. Most skip tracing is you can get the information you need at the county, at the AHJ, because like I was talking about last night, the process servers, whether it's mailed or it's hand delivered or the sheriff delivers it, the address, they usually have an email address, they usually have a phone number because they're serving legal papers. A lot of that information is available at the county in so you can find it. Also, another place to look for skip tracing is go to like the building department, whatever department issues building permits in that jurisdiction, and it should be on the same website unless it's like a Mayberry type county. You should be able to go and pull up, if it's had a recent permit that homeowner that's in foreclosure, the contractors have to put the homeowners, obviously they have to put their client's name on there because the building inspector needs to call them or email them or something to set up access. Because a lot of times they don't just go through the contractor, they contact the homeowner and make sure, especially if it's an interior job, they come and make sure there's no dogs or, things like that. And so that information is there. We had one a couple of weeks ago. I think, Kevin, you remember that one where we had the Colorado Springs one in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and it turned out that the people had in Oregon, they were served in Oregon. Well, guess what? We were able to find the paperwork that the Oregon, they used the sheriff because they were mailing in Colorado, but they used the sheriff because it was in Oregon, so that whatever counties in Oregon they were in, the sheriff had to sign the process and had their phone number and all that stuff. So guess what? Don't have to skip trace. And this next component I'm building is actually going to be take care of a lot of the calling, dialing, and stuff like that. That's going to take me about 2 weeks to get that one done.
Yeah, that usually the results of that usually come in within 24 hours of it being filed, if not sooner. So you're virtually real time getting that information too. That's the other thing that's different about this. Everybody else is getting this kind of stuff off of a list that might be a week old.
I show you guys one. Well, let's see. Let me pull up one real quick before I get it. RCIC systems. So I've got. Let me make sure I'm getting the right one real quick because I should be able to get. I'm trying to make sure I got the right one because I just got these earlier today. Okay, this one looks like the right one. If it's not, I'll just go to the next one because I got these two. I get 10 reports a week, and I have my agents deployed. And I got this one. I get these 4 of them today, and one of them actually was in Colorado, and it's actually got. Let me make sure this is in. This is actually the national one I get. And don't worry, that code interpreter session expired. Won't go away in a second. This is a national one I get, and so it's actually gives me the top 10 fastest moving micro markets. So I could go and actually, I could go in there and have it if I like Houston and Phoenix, or if I like whatever I like, I can go and actually then plug it in, set and deploy an agent to down here, obviously through, more in agent mode, and deploy an agent to go actually search those and more deep dive. But this also gives me the top 25 auction, and you can sit there and go, hey, this one looks good. It's, here's I'll go have it check these 25 opportunities, just copy and paste them and enter them and have it do a deep dive on them, especially your national. But what I like to do is, this is actually my Thursday market update. I'm just trying to make sure I get my one for the one for Colorado, because you guys can set this where you're out in Michigan. And Rod, I built one for Wayne County for Kevin Flowers. So if you guys want the Wayne County one, let me know. I built a market guide, and then you can enter it into the prompt bar and ask it to duplicate any county and zip codes you like, and it'll duplicate it and make a market guide. And then you just use that in a buy box, like a project, set up your markets, and that'll help you. That's kind of like a prompt. It's kind of like a way to, it builds. It's pretty thorough. Some of them are like a few pages, and it has all the agencies and all that. This one might be taking a minute to come up. Yeah, this one's because some of these are full, like meaning there's a lot of information for us to read. There you go. It's coming up with some more information. Okay, so this is one I get out of Colorado. and I got this afternoon. So it basically went out the last 48 hours, and it checked like here's Denver, here's where I live, Jefferson County, Arapahoe County, Douglas County, Boulder, El Paso, Colorado Springs. It gives you good. It gives you some good zip codes. It actually can, and you guys can set this for any market you work in. And I can help you. I can make a market guide and a prompt for those markets. That'll help you set this up, where it can tell you what's going on. Here's some NEDs for foreclosures. Here's some continuances in Boulder. You get down here, it starts getting into. Here's a good tranche. It's got the case number, the address, the NED. There's the off ramp, so you can go to Jefferson County right to the source. This is in Jefferson County, released theirs this morning at 8 o'clock. So I was able to get it at 4 o'clock already. So you're talking about it came about 3 o'clock. So it was about 7 hours after they went public. I had them. So that's pretty fast. You get Boulder County. It talks about what's going on. It actually suggests there's continued steady NED inflow and auction scheduling. This is Colorado Springs. Probate. Where's probate? And some states are like Colorado. I don't know, Michigan or Texas and all that. We built the market guide for that. In Colorado, I just have to go to the Colorado Judicial Branch. I can go check all 64 counties for probate and evictions all at one source. There's obviously county breakdowns when I get there. Here's evictions. You get an overbid excess funds. Here's my micro markets in Colorado. And I check everything from Casper, Wyoming, all the way down to Pueblo, Colorado. I have it in my market, so I check all those counties. I get Denver, Fort Collins, Boulder, Colorado Springs, Pueblo, Casper, Cheyenne, Laramie. So I get a lot of good area. And then it'll give me my top 10 actionable opportunities. So I can put these in there and I can have it searched there and I can ask it to recommend 5 properties. So it just depends on what you guys want to do. Do you want to do quality over quantity? Do you want to go through 1,000 properties, or do you want to have like 10 or 15 or 20 properties? Especially if you're getting them this fresh, if I'm getting them 7 hours after their public release, after they become a public record, that's the fastest you can get them. So it gives you a whole plan for that. So it's kind of cool. I like to, show people. You guys want help with that? I'll make a market guide for you and give you the prompt. And write the prompt specifically for your county. I can do that. Just hit me up on Messenger and tell me what counties you want, and I'll generate that. Usually, if you tell me tomorrow, I'll have that to you by noon tomorrow. Try to get back into this real quick. All right. So we're going to go over the RCIC systems real quick and how to get your access there. So we built so you guys got to think about this RCIC core, what we're on now. Think about it as interstate highway. I took that concept to what we built over there as well. So we got the 7 off ramps, guys. AHJ intelligence is the first stop. It's where you're going to find your distress signals and your foreclosures, just like we just talked about. And we made a field guide. It's actually in the files tab as well. In both groups, it should be near the top because it's one of those things I just put in this week. There's a field guide that goes through all of this here. So obviously in there you can set it up. You can start working, trying to get your foreclosures, trying to get ahead of it. You'll actually beat the aggregators because most like PropStream and all these Goliath and Bat, they all buy data from aggregators. So there's a process, and every company can be different as far as how soon do they get those leads to you. And how many people do they sell them to? Here, think about it. I just showed you Jefferson County. I could have gone manually to Jefferson County at 8:30 this morning and got them live, fresh, 30 minutes after they became public. And because the RCIC systems uses Anthropic and Claude, we can do scraping. We can do a deeper scrape in addition to the public. So here you can do mostly public. Anything's public. We have looked at early distress. Over there, we can start scraping deeper. So you guys have the best of 2 worlds. You can go back and forth. And what I also tell you guys, if you ever want to build stuff, build it, do all the planning and all the community, planning and organization here, and go to Claude and build it because it'll build it much more efficiently. Then you guys get a deal analysis. ARV does all your comps, MRA, and your decision memo. So you'll get an advance, you'll get an archive. Hey, this looks like a good deal, or maybe it's, you want to push it off, archive it or kill it. There's 3 options. That's going to be in RCIC systems. that's in the field guide. You read that. So like I said, every deal, once you put your buy box and all that, it'll actually give you a recommendation. Advance it, archive it, or kill it. Buyers and sellers. So you can organize your buyer list and your seller pipeline over there. Over there, you can enter them. And people can, and also people can enter that they're looking for properties. People can look like wholesalers. The system will connect and will actually be able to help move a lot of like wholesale deals and stuff over there. So it's one I'll be able to connect that pretty soon. Once people start populating that, we'll actually be able to make that connection where, if you got a lot of properties and you don't want to work on them, you can put them in the system. People who are looking to buy properties can put them in the system, and we can kind of match make them. So you got owners, brokers, lenders, buyers, capital partners. You're going to skip tracing. So you got all the buyers and sellers in the deal analyzing tools, right? Skip tracing is its own off ramp over there. And Rod, I took the prompts and I took everything for skip tracing here, and I built it into the system. So over there, you don't have to even prompt. It's just really check boxes. You just check, I need this, I need this. So it's kind of cool. So it's all in there. So over here is really your opportunity to build it your way and build onto it. Use the GPTs, build your own GPT and all that. Over there, pretty much everything is like almost just like having a program just to go through and so you got the best of two worlds. You can go either way. Rehab and scope of work. So here it's got everything for rehab and scope of work as its own off ramp on the highway. Capital passport. There's 1,383 curated lenders and lenders and hard money and private money lenders in there. Altogether, we have about 19,000, but like 17,000 are like hedge funds that don't do real estate and family offices, endowment funds. But we do have a strategy if you ever want to use LinkedIn on they have a product that's a paid product. Unfortunately, they used to let you do it for free, but you could turn that 17,000 into 50,000, 100,000 contacts in about 6 months. And you think about those pension fund and endowment funds, people that contribute or participate in them. There could be a lot of real estate investors. So it's we kind of had a strategy for that. We used to have it. I used to have over 100,000 connections in LinkedIn when they allowed that. Then you got transaction coordination. So, and we actually have the option in there now. We can put transaction coordinators where you can click, you'll be able to, click on it and say, I need a transaction coordinator. And then the transaction coordinators that are in our program in the system, they can actually get a direct referral. So they'll contact you and they can and you can even allocate, if you have somebody you trust, let's say Willie, or maybe you have somebody like Jay Holder or somebody, you can click and also a second click and it'll actually send that deal to them so they can evaluate it to give you, price, recommendations and stuff. So it's kind of cool to be able to share. It doesn't automatically do it.
You just basically hook up with the person who used to work the Fed and have her do it.
So you get out of
we've got our own within the group here. It's Gwen, and she's basically that's what she's doing nowadays. But then she's got access to funding as well on top of that. So she's really good at it. She's one of the founders of the private money industry as well. So I would, if you don't do anything else, at least try to have a chat with her at least one time. It's worth the time.
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure which one I'm getting. If it's showing, where's Claude? I'm trying to get to real quick. I have to get to my the one that I saved. If not, I'll have to real quick go hunt for it. And I saved it earlier. Yeah, let me do that real quick. You guys know I did like 500 Zims before I ever. Oh, here it is. Okay, guys. Let me make sure I can share it. Okay, so let me go ahead and see if I can move this screen sharing thing. Okay. So this is rcicsystems.com/redeem.html. You guys want to save this? I'll give it to you guys. I'll actually post it in the groups. I already did in the Facebook groups, but I'll post it again because this is where you want to go. Obviously, rcicsystems.com is the website. But what you do is tomorrow, what you want to do is when I type live in, I'm just going to type live or we're live or something with live in it tomorrow on the Facebook groups. At that point, you can contact me or Kevin or Jesse. We will basically, there's another screen we have called admin. I'll show you admin in a second. So basically with admin, we can go in and just take your email address. We assign you as an operator with lifetime access. It's going to then generate an access key. You guys see this access key where it says RCIC, life, and then it's got 4 digits and 4 digits. We'll generate your access key and give that to you. You guys will then come here to the redeem. You'll put in your email, your access key, and you'll set up your password. And then you'll repeat your password. And when you click on here, you'll activate your access. And then you'll be on the highway that we talked about. It'll be introduction. We want everybody to kind of like play with it for a couple of days. Next Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to start training people. We're actually going to be in it. I'm going to do our GPT. I'm going to do RCIC core like we did tonight on Wednesdays. And on Thursdays, we're going to do RCI systems. Keep in mind, these both, they work together really well. I mean, even though they're kind of separate, you can't like connect them. But you guys want to definitely take advantage of this because this is really incredible. So this is what you'll do is, and I'll make sure that, like I said, it's in there. So you guys want to, obviously connect with us. We'll generate your access key.
Yeah, you need to put that access key in a secure file someplace that you can get to it, at another date in case something's going on. That's your way to be able to get back in if something messes up. So it's going to be an email, or it's going to end up being on Messenger, whatever communication mode that you're giving us. When you get that, go ahead and use it, but at the same time, file it away someplace where you have access to it at a later date in case we need to do something.
So this is a screen we see, Kevin, Jesse, and I. And so we have the keys generate, and we basically come in and put your email, lifetime full access plus core plus 6, which is basically what we're on now at GPT. And then obviously your internal is an operator, and we'll grant you access, and then you'll have access to RCIC to the highway. And then all 7 of those steps are there. And you guys, it's your own, it's awesome, it's cool. So I'm just showing you this because you guys will never really see this screen unless we do a Zoom, they do a Zoom with you. You're able to contact any of the 3 of us and we'll come over and generate your key. And obviously we track Lifetime Pro and Light. You guys have Light. You guys can go and look at if you guys have not seen it yet. I'll go ahead and just take out the admin and stuff. Because you guys don't have to, I mean, you guys can see this just for kicks, but you guys talk about it 1,383 capital sources, the off ramps. There's 6 GPT agents, actually, core, and 6 others, and really 7. And then it's pretty cool. And then you guys get in through here, your intelligence, your deal analyzer, buyers and sellers, all the skip tracing, rehab scope of work, capital passport, transaction coordination. It gets you guys, obviously this is the sales stuff. You guys don't have to worry about this because you got this for life as well. But it talks about those off ramps that we talked about, the high ramp. And then this is what people are, generally outside of. You guys have it for $399, obviously. They have a light plan. They get deal analyzer, intelligence, and buyers and sellers. That's where they stop. When they go to the pro plan, which is monthly $399 or annual from $1997, if anybody asks, they can click down here to get the monthly plan, $399. Then they add in skip tracing, they add in transaction coordination, all 7 of the off ramps. Then what happens is to them at 3,500, they get the lifetime like you guys do. They'll get a lifetime link from us. They'll get the whole GPT access. And then
Nate's going to set up the affiliate program too, so that you guys can actually get some revenue off of referring people into this thing. That's probably going to be a couple of weeks out, but you'll be able to get to it too with that. That key is going to be there for you for getting into that. Then you can just basically set the people up and then forward the information, and then you'll get paid on that too, depending upon what you're getting them to do.
Yeah, I'll put the information for LinkedIn if you guys want those. If you guys want to do a LinkedIn thing, you have to set up, I think it's called Sales Navigator. It's a paid account with them. Like I said, unfortunately, they changed that. So it used to be free. I'll give you all 7 of the CSVs for our databases for the family office and hedge funds. And you guys can go input those. And it's pretty easy to do once you do it. You just have to have it's a paid account, unfortunately. Like I said, I don't have a LinkedIn account anymore. I got rid of mine. But if you guys get Sales Navigator, you can put those in there. It's ridiculous what you can do. You still have to do a lot of manual entry, but you could literally end up with 25, 50,000, 100,000 contacts, connections over there. and you have like pension funds, endowment funds for like Harvard and MIT and all them are in there. It's pretty cool. You can actually build up a lot of connections over there. So you got to think that probably the pension fund of Los Angeles firefighters isn't going to invest in your real estate, but who knows? There's probably a lot of firefighters that might be real estate investors. So that's kind of what the system is. Like I said, so tomorrow, like I said, we'll go back to this real quick. Redeem. So this is
More than likely, all of you guys that are in the RCIC group is probably going to get your information straight from Nate. We've got 2 or 3 others that Jesse and I are going to be following up on, and we've got a meeting right after this thing to go over all that. But I would be, for you guys that are in the RCIC group, look for communication from Nate directly on that, because he's probably going to be the one that's handling that.
I mean, we can set it up tonight, but I'm going to do one more test in the morning that actually deals with the highway itself. Once you're through that, and then I should be announcing it about noon my time, if not before. So yeah, then you guys will. This is a screen you guys will see once you come to me and we generate your. And keep in mind, these are generated for you specifically. So it's like a license. So keep it somewhere. You'll set up your email, your access key, and you'll set up your password, and then it's yours. And then obviously I'm not even really, the passwords go on to a website, a server that stores them, but we're never going to do anything with them except contact you guys ourselves. So you don't have to worry about that either. Because I know a lot of people ask about that. It's a lot when people are having emails and stuff. But like I said, you put in your email, your access key, set up your password, and you guys are good.
Do we need chat and Claude the monthly sub versions?
Yeah, I mean, if you decide you want to get it, it does make it a little bit more powerful because you can actually talk to it in intelligence. It'll work offline without it, but it works better with it. So I have to tell people, everybody has the GPT, which you keep because that's the core. I mean, don't get rid of GPT. But if you guys want to really go out there, it's up to you if you want to get Claude as well. But it has really ridiculous limits. It's low limits, but this fully works without it. We tested it. I thought people were gonna have to get a second subscription. You don't, but if you wanted to, you could do a lot of stuff with it. That would just be your choice. I mean, I'm not gonna make a recommendation either way. I'll wait till I see if a few people do it and how it benefits them before I make a recommendation on it. Like I said, what I've been doing is taking all the stuff I've been doing on GPT and I've been taking it over there because it just makes. I mean, it's cool. It's if you guys want. I mean, sometime I'll just do a live build like an app we did one a couple of weeks ago, and I'll show you that. Like I'll go start something in GPT, and I'll take it over and I'll show you guys how I can build an app and we can build it in like 30 minutes. Is it fully functional? It's functional, but it needs some tweaking and stuff, and that's what takes extra time. Like this website was done probably a week ago, but I've had to go through all GitHub and some other things for hosting all this. There's a process where I don't have to do as much maintenance. I can go add it to GitHub. It organizes, makes sure everything clean, and then it deploys it through Netlify. So they all kind of work together through API. So it's kind of cool that way. But yeah, that's the screen you guys are going to see after you generate. If you guys are generating, like we're going to do a mass session. I may say, hey, I'll be on for like an hour or 2 hours. I can, be on Zoom and I can generate these live for you. We can generate, because I have the ability to go generate like 25 at one time. I just don't want to do that because I don't want to I'd rather just generate yours and give it to you. So it's just up to you guys. Hit me up in the morning and then I can generate, or, I'll send it to you on Messenger. If you want, I can go generate, but just give me the email you want in the system, and I'll just go put it over there. Then you come back here, put your email in, put your key, and set up your password. So whatever email you give me for your key, you have to use on your redemption. So this will be the one that you guys want to keep, and I'll make sure you guys have that in the Facebook group so you guys can reference it. Just remember, it's rcisystems.com/redeem.html. So it's kind of cool. I mean, like I said, it's really going to be a benefit to you guys. I'm going to go ahead and share one more time. Sorry, guys. I have to do that sometimes because it's like just how my system works. Okay. So I am generating this is just fun for you guys if you want to watch. Because you think about your marketing, you guys can generate all your stuff in this visuals. You guys see all the stuff I put out, right? So you guys know you can generate listings. You could do all your marketing and stuff through and have it, generating. So right now I'm generating this Zoom video to upload to YouTube. Can you generate a thumbnail? So keep in mind, if you ever do YouTube, thumbnails have to be under 2.0 megabytes. So I always make them 1.99 just to make sure for YouTube, and it knows all the YT, YouTube, IG, Instagram, X, Twitter, X, FB, Facebook. It knows all that.
It's basically a media portal.
Yeah. Plus suggested titles, a description, and hashtags. Yeah, and anybody who does want those prompts that we talked about that Rod asked about, let me know too, and I'll make sure you can find them in the Facebook for the RCIC group, like quicker. But if you need more, just need some guidance, let me know, and I'll get them to you. That's the best way to do it, is to go put them in there and then set up those projects like skip tracing. Set up a skip tracing group project like in your sidebar. Because actually, here's the thing: if I deploy them, I'll actually end up using some of my agents to deploy them. If I put them in here and show you guys like live, I'm trying to save a lot of my agents, like those 10 are what's generating those reports I get. The other 30 I'm using to help you guys. So a lot of times I'm deploying agents to help people. If you guys ever need like some extra help, or you start using up your agents, let me know, and I can sometimes use one of mine to help you guys locate maybe some deals or something, some opportunities. So I will open that up to it. I do have my personal account too, my personal GPT, so it's on a different laptop. So I have 40 agents there as well I can start playing with. So this is making my YouTube thumbnail. It's going to give me a couple of suggested titles, and it'll give me a description and hashtags. And in the morning, I'll post this up. And then, like I said, most of them I do on the YouTube, and it is. But if there's something we are talking about we don't want disseminated to the public, I'll still put them in our 2 Facebook groups. But I don't. There are some. You guys will see if you guys go back to 2022, and Kevin can attest. Our Zooms are horrible back then. Well, actually, it took me 500 Zooms to realize that you can move the prop bar like I'm doing now. The Zoom bar, and it's like ridiculous because I accidentally moved it one time, and I freaked out thinking I screwed something up. So it just made that thumbnail for me. So how cool is that?
Yeah, it was definitely an adventure to say the least.
So yeah, it's gonna make that, and then let's see, suggested titles. Sometimes I gotta remind it. Because remember, it's also a machine. It's never going to get pissed at you if I've tested it too, believe it or not. And the description. It'll play chess with you, but it doesn't know what chess is. It'll watch the time when you guys start doing this. So do you watch like Kevin will tell you, last week I made for the 22nd of April for last Wednesday, but it made the 29th. So
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Then I went back and just duplicated out the 22nd. Well, guess what? Instead of yesterday, it saved me about 15 minutes from generating my stuff I posted yesterday because I had already made it last week. But yeah, watch some.
And then it set up at 6 a.m. instead of at 6 p.m.
Yeah, it's because
it had a little bit of an episode, is what it did. So that's what the story was behind that. If you guys got those notices that said 6 a.m., this is what the incident would come out of.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
And they actually work. If you guys ever get one, just get in the habit. It's Wednesday and Thursday at 5 p.m. Denver time, and those will work. But also remember that Wednesday and Thursday have different. I forget what it's called. The different links. The passcodes are always going to be 001 for you guys. but they'll have different links, so you can't use a Thursday on a Wednesday. So do watch that. But it's
Trying not to confuse things when we do these things is basically what it gets down to. And it's also for the recording files. So when we record these things and you go to try to figure out where you're going to get whatever it is you're getting, all these things kind of go together to make this thing work. And that's part of the reason why we does that.